Look at this, all orange coming out of the tee today as the 1-4 Vols, desperate for a victory, have Mississippi State in town for the first time in 12 years. Here comes Smokey. SEC Network Football is presented by Allstate. And here come those Bulldogs, led by second-year head coach Joe Moorhead. With Matt Stinchcomb, the College Football Hall of Famer, I'm Taylor Zarzer. Alyssa Lang is down on the field. You'll see her in just a second. Mississippi State with an awful start against Auburn, got their doors blown off on the Plains. Meanwhile, Tennessee, another big loss, this one at home to the Georgia Bulldogs. Both need to turn it around today.
You look at these programs licking their wounds, and they have to fix it pronto, because when you look at the way this schedule lays out, you're going to be facing the #1 team and the #5 team in the country in Alabama and LSU. Both of these programs desperate to rebound off of what otherwise were debilitating defeats the last time out. They got to win in conference, but more than anything else, they have to believe that they're good enough for the balance of this season. This is a confidence-building game for the winner in this one.
And Stinch, you got to have great quarterback play if you're going to turn it around. Tennessee is turning to a true freshman for his second straight start in Brian Maurer.
Says a lot when you turn to a true freshman, given that you had a veteran in Jarrett Garantano. But what they needed was the long ball. You had to hit some bombs. But when you talk with Jim Chaney, the offensive coordinator, Brian Maurer also was hitting the layups, the garden variety throws, the stuff that just has to get completed. The Garantano just wasn't getting done. He sparked that offense. It was for about 2 quarters worth of play, but it was enough for the Vols to make the change to Brian Maurer at true freshman.
Well, and look at the difference between the first half and the second half. He came out like gangbusters. Tennessee was giving Georgia fits, but it didn't last for 60 minutes, and that's the charge for Jeremy Pruitt today. Meanwhile, for Mississippi State, it's been a two-headed monster so far this year. True freshman Garrett Schrader on the right, Tommy Stevens, the transfer from Penn State, on the left. Who starts today? Joe Moorhead standing by with Alyssa.
Coach, we saw both Garrett Schrader and Tommy Stevens getting some warm-up time in. What will your plan be for quarterback today?
We're going to start with Tommy. Yes, ma'am.
What do you hope to see from him today?
Play like he was at the beginning of the season before he got hurt. Execute the scheme with precision and, create some explosive plays.
Thank you, Coach. Guys, also worth noting, linebacker Willie Gay, who's been in and out due to suspension, will play again. The last time we saw him was against Kentucky, and he took one to the house early.
We're going to wait a minute, Alyssa, to see him today because Mississippi State will get the football first. Tennessee won it, deferred. Mississippi State to receive. You see Jeremy Pruitt's record, 6-11 in his second season. All orange uniforms today for Big Orange. Now, they've worn orange pants before, Stinch, but this is the first time without a stripe in over 10 years. So Coach Pruitt told us on the field, let's mix it up a little bit.
You shook it up, there's no doubt. Big Orange country, Big Orange unis, in a big game for both of these programs.
Paxton Brooks has not allowed anyone to return one of his kicks this year. Dedrick Thomas and Brian Cole are back deep. And Thomas bobbles it, and he's coming out, and he's down inside the 10. So Tommy Stevens and Mississippi State backed up near their own doorstep. Stevens has been banged up all year for the Bulldogs.
And it has really hurt their ability to push the football downfield. The passing game in general, they have not been able to keep Tommy Stevens healthy. He is a dual threat. He can run the football. He has taken some shots, though. Has only finished 1 game this season. That was the opener. Otherwise, he's been nicked up and left the other contests. Will they be able to keep him clean? Will he survive full 4 quarters?
Hey, he hurt his ankle early in that Auburn game. Has had some shoulder issues, too. How quickly does he turn to Kylan Hill, one of the best tailbacks in the country? On the first play, makes a couple miss, but he's going nowhere. Loss of 1. Here's the Mississippi State starting offense today. Stephen Guidry not starting in the lineup due to a coach's decision. Isaiah Zuber gets the start. They'll rely on that tailback, Kylan Hill.
They got to get him going. They got to get him going in this game. They got to get him going early. Only 45 rushing yards last week versus Auburn.
Stevens' first throw is a good one to Osiris Mitchell. Mitchell will gain a few up to the 14-yard line for 6. It'll be 3rd and 5 from there. Orange shirts and pants swarming to the football, led by the true freshman, Henry To'o.
Well, so impressive to see such a young player contribute and produce at such a high level, and he's needed to for the Vol defense that all over the football field should be very active versus Mississippi State's run offense.
Now you see Mississippi State's numbers on 3rd down. Tennessee has had all kinds of trouble getting off the field. Stevens in trouble, can't escape, he goes down.
Tennessee dialed up pressure. You got a question. You got a guy who has not played a ton of football this year, Tommy Stevens. So will he feel it? Does he have that clock? You see the second level pressure. It was Bryce Thompson coming in. He got there first. Stevens felt it. Looked like he was going to escape initially as he pushed up in the pocket. Instead, Ball's able to get him on the ground. Not a great pressure team, setting the tone early defensively.
Tucker Day from his own end zone. Marquez Callaway, one of the best in the country, will stand away from this one, and it'll bounce dead at Mississippi State's 46-yard line. Just a 35-yard punt. So Brian Maurer with terrific field position on his first drive of the game from Ocala, Florida. True freshman threw for over 800 total yards in a loss in a high school game last year. Played in the Elite 11 quarterback competition and has been terrific with youngsters helping to help encourage children fighting cancer. Looked great the first half against Georgia. What does he do against the Mississippi State Bulldogs D today? Howard under center, drops back. Wide open, caught! Dom Wood Anderson inside the 20.
We were talking with Jeremy Pruitt during pregame, and he looks over and he says, we got to get our tight end going. This is number 4. How about the first rattle out of the trap? See Tennessee, we've seen them before. They're going to take a shot versus a defense in the secondary that has struggled. They struggled versus Auburn, and that time already early with an explosive pass play downfield for the Tennessee offense.
28 yards, trouble with the snap. Maurer pressured and will be out of bounds inside the 15. It's a pickup of 5. Second start coming off the bench for Jarrett Garantano. 10 of 17, 205 yards and 2 touchdowns in that first half against Georgia. Offensive coordinator Jim Chaney says he's a gym rat. Can't get him out of the building.
Well, he's also fearless, and he's young enough to not know everything. And in some ways, that's a good deal. First completion in Neyland Stadium, 73 yards, touchdown to Callaway, and already with the big completion today.
Inside handoff goes to Ty Chandler, and Ty plows ahead near the 12. It'll be 3rd down. Starting lineup today for Tennessee. Sensational senior season for Jawan Jennings so far.
He just plays so well. He's such a competitor. You talk to any of these coaches, and he's one of those guys where he's not going to run away from many, but he's big, he's physical, he makes those competitive catches when they're contested. This is where he makes his money. This is red zone, key downs, and on 3rd downs, it makes all the sense in the world to look to number 15.
He's looking that way. Into the end zone, double coverage, intercepted. Picked off by Mississippi State's Cam Dantzler.
That's what you take with a true freshman. He's fearless. Sometimes you throw it where it doesn't belong. The 22nd game in a row for Mississippi State and a turnover.
Bulldogs back on offense, and Kylan Hill goes straight ahead for a couple. Kylan leads the SEC in rushing, averaging 119 rushing yards per game. That's 23 more than the next best tailback, Rakeem Boyd at Arkansas.
He's just so physical. He's one of those guys where he's quick enough, fast enough to get into open field. You better bring a friend if you're going to get him to the ground. He breaks a ton of tackles.
Snap for Stevens. Plenty of time, but the the pocket, collapses, and down he goes. That's Matthew Butler with the sack.
And Stevens has got to unload this football. We've already seen a sack on the previous third down, but here he's got time enough. Had a running on a crossing route, could have unloaded it, and he didn't. You have to wonder the amount of time, the amount of game reps that Tommy Stevens has missed. Is it messing with his clock in his head, the timing of his throws? Get that football out of your hands. Don't take the negative yardage plays. And these are the third down distances that Joe Moorhead said we have to avoid.
Stevens, a laser, but it's incomplete. Trying to sneak it in there to Isaiah Zuber. It's fourth down. So Stevens is staying in there in the pocket. He ran around like crazy when he played at Penn State as the change of pace quarterback for Trace McSorley. Coach Moorhead said today Garrett Schrader is the runner and Stevens is the passer.
Yeah, and partly I think what we've seen is that Schrader, obviously as early as he is in his career, that's where he's made his plays, with his legs. Stevens more advanced in the passing game, but a very inauspicious start for the Bulldogs.
Almost blocked. Day gets off a bullet, and it takes Callaway all the way back inside his 30. And he's out of bounds near the 40-yard line. That is a 56-yard punt. Mississippi State on offense has been a disaster in the last few first quarters. Before Neyland Stadium, there was Waite Field, first athletic field on the Tennessee campus, named for the longtime professor here, Charles Waite, completed in 1908. First game, Vols beat the Tar Heels 12-0, 2,000 people in attendance there. Served as the field until 1920, had a great dedication on that earlier this week. So the Vols with terrific field position again, but had an empty drive the first time as Brian Maurer forced one to the end zone into double coverage where Cam Dantzler picked it off. A 3rd and 6 in stride to Tyler Bird, and Bird's inside the 40. That's his first catch of the season. He goes for 16 yards.
Mississippi State brought both linebackers. Harold Thompson and Willie Gay coming on the blitz. Maurer stabs a slant in right over their heads. Tyler Bird gets across, and that's one of those layup throws that Jim Chaney was talking about. When you got receivers running open, hit them in stride. First you got to find them, then you got to pull the trigger and put it on his numbers.
And it's Chandler. Ty goes inside the 40 for a couple more yards. Mississippi State defensive line led by Lee Autry, Marquis Spencer, Fabian Lovett, and Chauncey Rivers. What kind of pressure can they get against the Tennessee offensive line that's made a lot of changes this season?
Well, it won't be for a lack of trying, because of the 8 snaps we've seen, Mississippi State's brought pressure on 4 of them. They're not scared to shoot their gun out there. The issue is if you can pick it up, if that quarterback sees it, there's always a deficiency somewhere, especially in the secondary. You are borrowing from your coverage.
Straight ahead to Jordan, and Jordan might have gotten a yard. It'll be 3rd down and long. Bob Shoup, the former defensive coordinator at Tennessee, is now the DC at Mississippi State, and he comes after you almost every play.
And you can see it, and it's borne out already in this game. 48% of the time, you're going to see pressure versus Mississippi State. The issue is, do they always get home? You get the effect, only pressure effectively 29% of the time, even though they're blitzing 50% of the time.
On a 3rd and 8, Maurer, a strike again. It's Josh Palmer, and Palmer is to the 22-yard line. Let's get our first update today. Back to the studio. Here's Peter Burns. Burns, I want to know the heart rate of Dari Noka throughout today's updates. Of course, a proud OU alum. Yeah. Watching that one before he takes over for you later today. Oklahoma 7, Texas nothing. Vols on a 16-yard pass play to Josh Palmer. are back in the red zone again as Jordan gets them down to the 15-yard line.
Great job that time by Tennessee capturing the edge right away. Dom Woods Anderson, Austin Pope sealing the edge cleanly. Mississippi State gave up contain. Did a great job of getting outside and downhill quickly. Took Errol Thompson to get on it.
Problem is once they get inside the 20, they're kicking field goals or they're throwing interceptions. Just 8 touchdowns this year in 17 red zone trips.
As we just saw on the previous possession.
2nd and 3. Jordan changes that. Touchdown, Tennessee. That 15-yard touchdown run for Tim Jordan's only the 4th rushing touchdown for the Vols this season. Brent Samaglia, best kickers in America. 7-0 Tennessee.
Timmy Jordan hammering it into the end zone. The 5th different offensive lineup for that offensive line, and they're opening up big holes on the ground, and the Vols are up 7.
Down quarterback Brian Maurer came over to the bench and he yelled a big "let's go." He sat down with quarterback Coach Winkie, who was very complimentary about his awareness on that last drive, and then his senior wide receivers came over and they were patting him on the shoulders. That offense got a lot of swagger right now, something that the coaching staff was really excited about, the energy that Brian Maurer could bring to this offense.
There's Jared Garantano locked in too, trying to support him as best he can. Mississippi State get anything going on offense. Stevens will throw it, and it's caught. It's a catch made there by Osiris Mitchell for 5 yards. How about the start against Auburn? Historically bad. Losing 19 yards on the first drive. Auburn's first play was run from the Mississippi State 30. Whitlow touchdown. It kept going all the way through a fumble on the 3rd drive that led to an Auburn score. It was 21-0, Joe Moorhead said, before the band got in their seats.
Yes, it could not have started worse for Mississippi State. And then, of course, offensively, they ended up losing Tommy Stevens. Didn't even finish the 2nd offensive possession versus the Tigers.
It's 94-5 in total yards before Stevens takes off and gets about 4. It'll be 3rd and short.
This is the element that they have to have in their offense, the QB run game. We haven't seen Stevens keep it on a designed run yet.
Some miscues from both quarterbacks, throwing interceptions in the first quarter. The difference, a Tim Jordan touchdown run. Vols on top as we head to the 2nd. Great history of college football celebrated here in Knoxville. Johnny Majors and the 1989 Vols being celebrated out in the field. They went 11-1 that year, finished 5th in the final ranking, won the Cotton Bowl against the Arkansas Razorbacks. Always great to see Coach Majors. Vols punting to start the 2nd quarter. Malik Deer will run away from that punt. Takes a good bounce for Joe Doyle. Marked dead inside the 10. That's a 52-yard punt. Fake to Hill. This time it's a strike. And it's up near the 24-yard line. As Stephen Gittrey, who did not start the game due to a coach's decision, gets 16 yards.
We got to get him going too. He didn't play versus Kentucky at all. Another element in the passing game. That's what it's supposed to look like in the Joe Moorhead offense. RPO game, stab it in there when the linebackers check up versus the run.
Stevens rolls out, throws on the run. That's a dangerous pass. It's incomplete. Another studio update. Here's PB. early in Athens. But they've struggled to get going in the first quarters of games this season.
They really have. They start games incredibly slowly. Seems to be the case again today versus the Gamecocks.
See, he had the lead on them most of the first half last week, and Kylan Hill has no place to go against that Vol defense. It's second down. Alyssa Lang is a graduate of the University of South Carolina. You want to stop the game right now, Alyssa?
Yeah, I mean, I'd be totally fine with that. I think Stinch would be too, right, Stinch?
No.
Incorrect. Meanwhile, 3rd and 10 for the Tennessee Vols and those orange jerseys and breeches today against the all-white with some maroon numbers of Mississippi State.
Another 3rd and long for Mississippi State, losing on 1st and 2nd down.
Blitz picked up by the Bulldogs. First down throw past the 40-yard line, and it's Guidry again.
We talked about Guidry needing to step up. And he has, now that he's entered the game. Right here on the left side. And ends up being the ultimate target. He dropped by Stevens, throw it right over the umpire's head. Hit Guidry in the soft spot over the middle.
2 catches, 36 yards. It's Hill. Breaks a few tackles and gets to the sideline. Kylan hasn't done much so far today. That's his 4th carry. And hasn't broken one yet in the leading rusher in the Southeastern Conference.
He does such a good job of running out of tackles. The problem is you don't want that happening in your own offensive backfield. And Tennessee so far in this game has done an excellent job of getting upfield along their defensive front, forcing Kylan Hill to break tackles and break moves in his own offensive backfield. Not good.
Turn Stevens into a passer. Made him pay a couple of times on this drive. This time he shows off his running ability, and he runs past the 45 down to the 43. It's another Mississippi State first down.
This is the element that he brings, there's no doubt. The fact that he can tuck it and run it. And on this one, of course, it was just to extend the play, nowhere to go with the football, tuck it, pick up the first down, move the chains. Another makings of a good drive for Mississippi State now. Back-to-back possessions for the Bulldogs after a really stilted start offensively.
Hasn't gotten much yet, though. It's his 6th carry, and he's only got 10 yards.
You know, he's a guy that...
You see Gary Schrader copter from earlier this season. We'll talk more about that coming up a little bit later on in the game, as I think that play has gone viral across college football.
It certainly has, but what's interesting is that Kylan Hill, top rusher in the conference, but in the games where Garrett Schrader had to enter the game, Schrader ended up being the leading rusher, showing that those defenses have been keying on Kylan Hill.
It's 11th play of the drive. It started on Mississippi State's own 8. Not sure he's going to get this one off. They give it to him, and he goes down. Sacked again, and this time it's Bryce Thompson on another corner blitz.
We brought him on a blitz on the very first possession, and he got home. This time, looked like Thompson was in the neutral zone. He jumped it a little bit early. Watch him. Surprised that he wasn't in the neutral zone when that ball was snapped. Regardless, you know, we talk about Brian Maurer having to feel that perimeter pressure, especially to your right side as a right-handed quarterback. That time, Thompson right on top of it.
3 sacks, 4 tackles for loss for Tennessee.
Well, we talked about it. 3rd and manageable. Now, once again, 3rd and 10 plus.
At the feet of Guidry, they say incomplete.
We talked about Guidry earlier. Had a couple of catches early in this possession. It definitely looked like that ball skimmed the turf. It was almost an amazing catch, right? You talk about it right off your shoelaces, but definitely one hop off the field here at Neyland Stadium.
Number 47 for Mississippi State, Jace Chrisman, has kicked 3 47-yard field goals. This one, though, is a 51-yard attempt. A little bit of breeze down there on the field, kind of a swirling wind. Looks like it might be helping him at the moment, but this would be a career long by 4 yards. Junior from Houston, Texas. Doesn't have enough leg. Hits the crossbar and in.
Well, we talked about in the open. Tennessee's quarterback needed to hit layups and bombs. Well, Mississippi State needed their kicker to hit a bank shot.
Bulldogs on the board here on Rocky Top. Jace Chrisman, maybe a little gust from the gods. We're home, Romeo. Hits the crossbar.
Wow.
And in. Bulldogs on the board. The junior from Houston, Texas, his career long 51 yards.
From a distance standpoint, you can't shave it any closer than that. Got a good bounce.
Scott Goodman with a short kick, trying to kick away from those Tennessee star return men, and Chandler just runs out of bounds. It's like half the teams in the league right now are wondering who their quarterback will be week to week. Same would apply with these two teams. Brian Maurer hands to Ty Chandler, and he's up near the 18-yard line. First, you have Brian Maurer, of course, coming in for Jarrett Garantano. Then it's the Kentucky Wildcats. Sawyer Smith came in after that gruesome Wilson injury. You might see Bowden tonight. Felipe got hurt against Kentucky. Trask has taken over. First road start tonight against LSU. Bentley got hurt against the Tar Heels. Ryan Helinski has started since. Riley Neal is still starting, but we might see Deuce Wallace tonight. Of course, Kelly Bryant had a heck of a star scare last week. He's okay to play. And Jake Fromm, he's the only steady guy that you know you're going to get on a week-by-week basis. Chandler again just past the 20.
Yeah, they're an endangered species this year. And you look at that, there's a lot of snaps that went away. You look at Jake Bentley, the most experienced quarterback returning, especially in the SEC East, but across the entire conference, out week 1. Jarrett Garantano, among the more veteran signal callers in this conference going into the season. And of course, they've made a decision to change him out with Brian Maurer.
I think all of us breathed a huge sigh of relief knowing that Kelly Bryant was okay after that hit last week. Maurer will step up on a 3rd and 4 and take off. Spinning past the 40, first down, Tennessee.
Mississippi State was in a bear defense. See this? 3 bigs right in the middle. You get a little bit of pressure right off the edge, and Maurer, we talked about it. Yeah, he made some throws. But coming into the season, we had Tennessee versus UT Chattanooga. Maurer was a runner, and he was the guy, yeah, he was fearless, but he could hurt you with his legs, and he just did right there on the scramble.
Garantano's in. Brian Maurer is in the tent. So Jarrett, who started 17 straight games in all 12 last year, benched midway through the Florida game, comes off the bench again, handing to Chandler maybe a yard.
Well, it looked like Maurer kind of bounced up after his run, landed face first. Looked like he could have injured his neck. I don't know if it's owing to that, but Garantano, who was the starter, as we mentioned, coming into the season, but just had so many issues, not only hitting the shots downfield, but throws that needed to be made. Open receivers, swing passes.
Tano back to the ground, and it's Chandler again. Tennessee does have 2 timeouts. See how quickly they get to the line here. They do. They call timeout. 47 seconds left in the half. They've got 1 left. You'd think he would have to throw the ball here on a 3rd and 5.
And where we've seen protection break down, although you can see a run formation from Tennessee here, not as good of a runner.
Round again, and tripping is Chandler. He might have lost a yard.
See clearly, with that run call, obviously you want to get the conversion, but can you inch ahead, make it more manageable for Samaglia? Instead, the slip, the kneel and turf, taking him down as he goes straight to as he headed towards the line of scrimmage.
Samaglia has nailed 2 51-yard field goals in his career, has one this season. It's the BYU Cougars in week 2.
I tell you, when you look at it, the play calling, obviously Garantano being forced in there, Maurer injured, but left the game, has been in the evaluation tent. 3 straight runs for your former starter in there at quarterback.
49. Samaglia right through the middle. 10-3 Tennessee after 2.
Right when you thought that maybe it couldn't have gone worse there towards the end, slip it down, couldn't eke it any closer, and instead Samaglia makes it right. Just shy of a bank shot.
Tennessee receives the second half kickoff. Alyssa Langs with Jeremy Pruitt.
Coach, what's the status of Brian Maurer right now?
Well, they're checking him out. I don't know. We'll see when we get inside.
How would you evaluate the way your defense has been able to play in this first half?
Well, we've got a couple of turnovers. It's been good. We gave up one play on 3rd down, but I think it's probably been one of the better halves we played.
Thank you, Coach.
Hard to argue with that as they limited Kylan Hill to just 12 rushing yards in the first half. Maurer walking off. His team up 10-3. Let's send you to the halftime report with PB, Chris Doring, and Gene Chiswick. On the banks of the Tennessee River, the Vols lead Mississippi State 10-3 as we start the 3rd quarter. Let's see who's winning with style today. Brought to you by Belk.
Well, what was interesting in that first half were the red zone takeaways. And you can see Marquez Callaway, he just kind of checks up. And because he does, it allows Cameron Dantzler to sink. And he ends up making this pick, trying to get the ball into Jawan Jennings. This is early in the first half. Set the tone for Mississippi State, and then once again, another turnover. Now this time Maurer flushes for no reason, but he sees the safety. The safety's gonna jump Jawan Jennings' route underneath. That's gonna open up Palmer's route on the back end of the end zone. The problem is, by then Maurer had already flushed out. He's throwing on the run, didn't get near enough on this throw. Throwing across his body. Hangs up. Ryan Cole ends up with the interception. 2 empty red zone possessions for Tennessee. That's the difference in this game so far.
Struggling starting quarterbacks, and Tennessee has limited Kylan Hill defensively. Tennessee has been terrific, forcing a few sacks and 5 tackles for loss, and they'll get the football first at the 25. Could see some backups at quarterback in the second half, Alyssa.
Yeah, guys, I just caught up with Mississippi State head coach Joe Moorhead. He said he will go with Garrett Schrader in the second half. I asked why, and he said it comes down to turnovers. This is a passing game, and they can't be turning the ball over in the air. So you will see Schrader for the Bulldogs. As for Brian Maurer, he is out with an undisclosed injury, so it'll be Garantano here going forward.
Wondering if it happened on this play, Alyssa, as Maurer did stay in the game after that, but did go into the tent and, as you said, into the locker room. So Jarrett Garantano, who hasn't thrown the football yet, has handed it off to his tailbacks, and he keeps it going in the second half. That's Tim Jordan for 6.
That's interesting. And you look at this, and right when Tennessee thinks that they figured out that they got an answer at quarterback with Brian Maurer, and he gets injured. And it was right before that final possession that ended up resulting in a Samaglia field goal on the ensuing offensive possession. But Tennessee ran the football 3 straight times, kicks that field goal. Now you're back to your original starter you opened the season with.
Only threw it once in the entire quarter, and that was the interception. She just diagrammed. still on the ground, and Jordan is bottled up in the backfield, losing yardage on that play as Errol Thompson came in.
It's the first negative yardage play the Mississippi State defense has been able to generate all game long. First time that they've been able to push Tennessee back on an offensive snap, and now we saw a 3rd and 5, 3rd and medium, right before Samaglia's field goal attempt. You have to go to the air here with Garantano. Here comes his first attempt of the game.
Instead, again to the ground, and right near the marker, looks like half a yard shy, is Chandler. Flag is going to come in as we had some extracurricular activity there. Marquez Callaway and Errol Thompson.
Mississippi State heated it up a little bit on that one. Eventually, Garantano's going to have to air it out.
The play is a first down. After the play was over, unsportsmanlike conduct on number 15 of the offense. Unsportsmanlike conduct on number 8 of the defense. This is the first unsportsmanlike conduct foul for each player in the game.
It is a first down, as they did give.
By rule, first down.
And they did give Chandler the 35-yard line.
So they end up handing it off to Chandler, and yeah, he gets it because he's rolling over the top of Chauncey Rivers right as they reached the yard line to get to it.
First throw for Garantano, and it's an underneath one to Juwan Jennings. Might have lost a couple of yards. Yep, I'd say a loss of 2 there. 2nd and 12.
Well defended. Brian Cole, once again, who has been, I think, among the brightest spots of the Mississippi State defense this season. Came up with the interception in the end zone there in the 2nd quarter, and then triggers nicely on that support.
Chandler making his way through traffic past the 45 for a gain of 9. 3rd and 3 for there.
Huge hole that time. Mississippi State run down blitz, committing the linebacker. Right now, Willie Gay crashing the line of scrimmage. But you got to make him right. Cam Dance was playing outside. You've already got a contained player out there. A huge hole. Tennessee defense, offensive line, the one that we talked about, reshuffled. A pretty good job in this game.
Balls have thrown it twice since the 1st quarter. It's 3rd and 3. One-on-one, caught inside the 20, down inside the 15-yard line. Biggest play of the game to the true freshman Ramel Keaton.
We got his outside release. Garantano working the left side of the field and came right back to Keaton and threw a strike. Defensive back, maybe get his head back around, and Smitherman, that was something the coaches pointed out. They don't play the ball very well in the air, does the secondary Mississippi State.
Jordan, nothing doing.
Jim Jordan carries.
Coach Jim Chaney said he's been very impressed by Ramel Keaton so far in his true freshman season, and calls his number on a 41-yard completion.
Well, I'll tell you what, you got to be impressed too with Jarrett Garantano, because that throw, that's the throw that he'd been missing. Either wouldn't shoot it, or he'd underthrow it, end up in the wrong hands. You'll see in the red zone, they have to right this ship. First opportunity here in the 2nd half.
Only 1 of 3 scoring touchdowns, 1 of 3 scoring points.
Yeah.
Number 12 goes Jordan on a 3rd down. So the question is, when you have 2 interceptions that were thrown in the end zone, albeit by another quarterback, do you let Garantano throw here?
Well, you've already shown you're willing to let him do it. There for a second, I was starting to wonder. Maybe it was just going to be a run-only offense. You're already willing to let him take a shot downfield. Quick little pass, a little now pass. You can still pick up a first down here. And Samaglia has proven it's a gimme from here. Pass this football. If it's an incomplete pass or a completion, one thing you can't have is turning it over.
Run it again. Jordan, can he get the edge? just shy of the first, down at the 5. So it'll be 4th and 2 from there.
Well, you play it safe and you just don't risk it. Jeremy Pruitt said, I've had enough of it. We're not going to get in the red zone again. Come away empty. As you pointed out, it's not just touchdowns, it was points. So you got a starter who is no longer the starter back in the game for a reason. It wasn't necessarily because of the excellent decision making, but take nothing away. That shot to keep that got the balls down here in scoring position.
Mississippi State's going to have to prove they can do something on offense before Tennessee gets more aggressive in this position. Samaglia from 22 yards makes it a 10-point game. 6:12 to go in the third quarter. Vols desperate for that second win. Paxton Brooks, the best in the country at kickoffs this year. Schrader will throw it again into traffic. Intercepted. Nigel Warrior with another pick, giving the football back to the Vols. Into double coverage goes Schrader again. Tennessee has its third interception. Haven't we seen a 7 overtime game?
There we have. they're
Ty Chandler gets a few as we approach the end of the third quarter here. Bama and A&M think the Aggies have a chance there in College Station today.
Well, they're going to have to play a lot better than they have. There's no doubt about that. Facing one of the more explosive offenses that you'll see in the conference right now between Alabama and LSU.
Florida and LSU tonight. There's a huge story in Athens right now with Georgia and South Carolina. Into the third here, Jarrett Garantano and the Vols trying to get their second win of the season, up 10 to the 4th. Tennessee leading Mississippi State 13-3 at the start of the fourth quarter in Knoxville. Tennessee with some terrific defense today. Can their offense, led by Jarrett Garantano, put the game away in the fourth quarter? As it's Chandler for a couple third downs.
Well, to say that Tennessee's become conservative, I think would be an understatement. However, you know, in light of the way this game has unfolded, it makes sense. You've made it into the fourth quarter, and based on what you've seen from Mississippi State offensively, now with Garrett Schrader in the game, it has been non-threatening.
9 pass attempts. Only 2 in the second half for the Vols. Here comes the third. First down. Jennings past midfield. 15 more yards.
Well, Garantano, when he has cut it loose downfield, he's looked pretty good. Now that one, Jennings is wide open. Nearest defender was Brian Cole. But frankly, earlier in the season, that was not necessarily a gimme completion. He's now 3 for 3.
Look at the Bulldogs going on and off the field. Kinds of confusion for Coach Shoop's defense. A first down throw. Garantano, too high for Jennings.
Garantano got hit there as he unloaded. Spencer got there, but turned Jennings around, was running out of real estate. See, maybe going out for that knockout punch right here at midfield.
Wood Anderson getting set there just off of the line, and the handoff to Jordan. Bottled up in the backfield. Errol Thompson finishes him off. The ball came out there too. 3rd and 13. Quick throw to Jennings. Back to right where he made that catch a minute ago. 4th down.
Put the football away. You can see it. Highly conservative. Sure. Protect the football. Jennings is out there. Looks like he's got a shoe in one hand, a ball in the other. Hang on to the shoe.
Meanwhile, can Mississippi State's offense do something? Just the second half, 11 plays, 21 yards. They have 142 for the game.
You could see Tennessee defensively seemingly turned the corner a week ago versus Georgia. They've carried that performance over so far.
Luke Deere with the fair catch. 12:04 left to go in the 3rd quarter. Lovely fall day on the banks of the Tennessee River here in Neyland Stadium.
And guys, as Mississippi State gets ready to go back on offense, one thing Joe Moorhead talked to us a lot about was feeling like they were able or unable to be consistent as far as quarterback play, having to make those switches so far this season.
Schrader to Osiris Mitchell for 21 yards. Late flag comes in.
Roughing the passer with targeting. Number 11 of the defense. 15-yard penalty with an automatic 1st down.
Henry To'o, the heart and soul of that UT defense as a true freshman.
So the yardage is going to stay on here regardless. The personal foul. And
so in total, that's 36 yards, 21 for Mitchell, 15 on the personal foul call. And the Bulldogs have some life at their own 46.
It's a big swing. I mean, you're in the shadow of your own goalpost. On offense, it's not moving the ball. You give them a 1st down and a half with that penalty.
Highland Hill, no place to go all day. Big loss there. Greg Emerson, the first one to him. Hill's frustrated because he thinks his face mask was messed with.
He's got to be frustrated, period. Kylan Hill's just trying to get outside. Darrell Taylor, great job setting the edge. I didn't see him grasp anything. Yeah, he touched the helmet, sure. Now at the end, I think that's probably where Kylan Hill felt like he had his helmet ripped off.
And of course he has to come out of the game. Nick Gibson in on a 2nd and 15. Schrader into traffic again, batted away. It's 3rd down. Let's check on what's happening in Dallas. Here's Peter Burns. Old SEC quarterback, Jalen Hurts. So 17-10 Oklahoma, 17-10 South Carolina over Georgia. Meanwhile, the Bulldogs almost in desperation mode, down 10 with just over 11 minutes to go. Schrader will step up and take off, dive ahead. He will be short by a few yards as he's marked down at the 48.
Goes airborne again. Talking about the Schrader copter that time was jumping. And, you got to go for it at this juncture. And you think you're looking at this game. If you haven't been watching up until now, you're going, well, I mean, look, this is striking distance. It's a 10-point ball game. 2 possessions. Not in this one. Not the way that Mississippi State has played offensively.
Bulldogs have to get to the 44.
Keep in mind, what got them towards midfield was the personal foul penalty on Henry To'o.
Schrader trying to find space. 1st down all the way down to the 36. Darrell Taylor had a hand on him, and that's what he does best.
Great job by Schrader on that one. And we've seen him force some balls downfield. This time he's just running for his life. Great stiff arm to escape the pocket and pick up the yardage needed to convert. And so the gamble works right there at midfield to see if you can't get into scoring position on this possession here.
We asked Joe Moorhead how he described this guy. He said insanely confident.
He plays like it, that's for sure.
12-yard run for the true freshman gives the Bulldogs new life, and they take advantage. Dedrick Thomas inside the 20.
Off the play action. You've got a defense that gets a little bit nosy. That time the linebackers check up, hit Thomas over the middle, a little bit behind him, but enough to make the completion and pierce the red zone.
9:15 to go in the game and counting. This is Mississippi State's first snap from the red zone. Kylan Hill, bottled up all day. It's Alontae Taylor.
That's a great tackle by Alontae Taylor. And this is the second time we've seen him in the open field get Kylan Hill on the ground. That's what stands out about number 8 when he's got the ball in his hands. And he hasn't been able to get loose much today, but he breaks tackles. That was his longest run of the day, 4 yards.
Schrader to Thomas, touchdown! "17 yards to the senior from Memphis, and the Bulldogs are back in it."
What an answer by Mississippi State. Just a fantastic job. Not only you gamble at midfield, but you capitalize on it. Dedrick Thomas coming up big once Mississippi State converted the 4th down, and Garrett Schrader gutting it out on some scrambles.
Fishman makes it a 3-point game. The drive started at their own 10-yard line. It's the longest drive of the season for Mississippi State, culminating with the touchdown pass to Dedrick Thomas, the 8th catch of his career in the end zone. We got a football game on Rocky Top. Tennessee only scored 2 touchdowns in the second half as a team this year. This kick from the 5-yard line. It's Chandler with a flag down. Tennessee's going to be backed up to start this drive. On the bench to carry on Joyner in instead for the Gamecocks here. Off the bench, it's Jarrett Garantano handing off to Ty Chandler, and he's ahead to the 15-yard line. Both starting quarterbacks have been benched in this game. First, it was Brian Maurer, who got banged up towards the end of the first half. Garantano, who's made 17 career starts, came in. And for Mississippi State, Tommy Stevens went to the bench. Garrett Schrader in relief. There's Maurer watching on a 2nd and 4. Chandler, first down. Taking Mississippi State white shirts to the 30-yard line.
Missed tackle showing up for Mississippi State. Right up the middle. And you've got defenders there that can make the play and don't. Chandler running through arm tackles at the line of scrimmage, and that's something that has plagued Mississippi State's defense the most in the conference. 12.5 missed tackles a game. That's a ton, and that one showed up big because that was the worst starting field position for Tennessee here in this half, and right when you wanted to pin them deep.
This is Jordan in for Chandler, and he gets about 7. So Bob Shoop, the former defensive coordinator at Tennessee, who was here for 2 years, is now the DC at Mississippi State in his 2nd season in Starkville. He was gashed by Auburn, says we've had alignment issues. The effort's been fine, but just a lot of inexperience rearing its ugly head. He does still continue to have ties to Tennessee. His son Jay is on the team for Tennessee. The defensive back is not playing today, but is wearing his uniform on the sideline. This is Jordan with a first down run up to the 49-yard line. It's a pickup of 12, and there's Jay Shoup pulling against Dad today.
Yeah, they had to kind of put him on an island this week. Made sense. Wasn't at practice during the week. Conflict of interest, blood's thicker than water, all that business. Jay Shoup wouldn't have done anything to sell out his teammates, but still made sense for him to be more isolated, but not on game day. He's on this football team. He's wearing his orange opposite his dad's maroon. Well, that time, bad second level fit from Jaquarius Landrews on the perimeter run from his safety spot. Great job by Tim Jordan.
Jordan sheds the tackle and gets ahead to the 49-yard line. Pickup of a couple as Kobe Jones couldn't make a tackle, and this clock is running and running.
Yep.
And Tennessee's not going to throw it unless Mississippi State makes it.
They've thrown it 5 times here in the second half, 22 runs. And right now Mississippi State, the big run to crank open this possession and to get out from your half of the football field. Now all of a sudden, boom, balls at the 50-yard line, and Mississippi State let them out of a hole defensively.
Jordan gets to the 47, so it's going to be third and about 6 from there. Just over the 4-minute mark by the time Tennessee snaps this football. Chandler's run it 16 times for 63 yards. Jordan 18 times for 60 yards. This two-headed monster in the backfield.
Juwan Jennings and Marquez Callaway. That's Jennings in motion. Number 15.
Tano looking that way. In trouble underneath throw. Jordan, first down. How about Garantano surveying the whole field and converting?
He was selling it. You sent Juwan Jennings over there to that side. Where's everybody expect you to throw it? And he comes back to Tim Jordan. Opposite side of the field, the entire defense tilts that way towards Jennings. Gets it right over the hands and into Tim Jordan.
Converted 7 third downs today. Tennessee has all of them passing. That was the biggest one with the clock moving near the 3:30 mark. Jordan, Kobe Jones gives him a bear hug. It'll be second down. Mississippi State's going to have to start thinking about timeouts. Meanwhile, Garantano, who's been told he cares too much. He doesn't get rid of the play that just happened. He keeps thinking about it. Trey Smith, his old roommate, the left guard, said that he constantly told Jarrett, forget about it, move on. He did on that third down conversion.
So just milk that clock down. Use all the play clock you can.
Bird, first down, touchdown! First guy to greet Brian Maurer, or to Garantano on the field rather, was Brian Maurer. Chris Winkie gets a hug. So Maglia's extra point is good. That's the longest drive of the season, 91 yards. And that guy, Tyler Bird, didn't have a catch before today. He's had a couple of game winners in his career. This one might be one too. Of drama happening around us in college football. Garrett Schrader's got 2:30 left in the game. This guy is all heart. First down run for 14.
See, we talked about him as nicked up last week, or last time out versus Auburn. He's had some key scrambles, did so on their scoring drive.
Schrader under pressure. Ball's fumbled but recovered by the Bulldogs. It was Darrell Taylor coming around the edge. Darrell Williams recovered the football.
Got his hand on the ball. Right on his upfield hand of Garrett Schrader. Ball came out, and you're right, Darrell Williams with the heads-up play.
Thomas up to the 45-yard line. Clock still running unless Mississippi State starts using those timeouts.
Had to.
Yep. First down throw to Osiris Mitchell. And the extra effort inside the 40.
Osiris Mitchell's been a battler in this game. Had a completion overturned. It was a big explosive play, turned the other direction, and now a big catch over the middle. And Mississippi State in hurry up.
Schrader. First down inside the 30. Clock stops momentarily with 1:23 left.
He doesn't know how to slide. He's going to dive forward every single time. That time just enough to get a fresh set of downs and on the outskirts of another red zone possession.
To the end zone, and it's batted away. That's Warrior.
Bryce Thompson had fallen down. Nigel Warrior comes over from his safety position, makes a great play to knock that ball away. Schrader saw it. Thompson goes down to the ground, thought he could find Osiris Mitchell again, and instead Nigel Warrior able to come over once again, saw him do it earlier.
Schrader's in trouble. First down, diving inside the 15.
See, backs turn to the line of scrimmage. Huge voids in the defense. The third time where Schrader has been able to scramble up and get another first.
Snap it with 50 seconds left. Can't take a sack, and he does. Von Bennett, Biscuit's boy, with the sack. 44 seconds left, and Mississippi State has to call another timeout.
It looked like there was confusion to the left side of the formation. Osiris Mitchell didn't even release. So there's really only one receiver downfield. So you have to wonder what ended up happening. You just got to unload it. You can see he went to unload it, he reloads, and then eats it. Negative yardage play. Clock continues to run. You're forced to take another timeout. 6 sacks, 9 tackles for loss for a Tennessee defense that has struggled to generate either coming into this game.
Schrader can't get it done. Runs right at the UT defense, and that's Darrell Middleton.
Well, you had to think there was a chance for a QB draw. And what Tennessee did with their defensive front was they stunted. The 2 interior defensive linemen, one was just standing up. And Darrell Middleton comes across, and what looked like a running lane vanished. And as you mentioned, Schrader, as soon as he started to break upfield, it was right into the belly of Darrell Middleton. He still pick up a first. That's the only other time, other than an incompletion. It's going to stop the clock. Mississippi State's burned their final timeout.
Schrader. Lasso down by Daniel Batuli. Clock will run on this 4th down at the 19-yard line. Oh, and they're going to rush on the field. Chrisman's going to attempt a field goal.
Yeah, fire back.
It's a 36-yard attempt for Chrisman, who connected with his career long earlier in the game. And the glimmer of hope ends as it's wide left. Tennessee was 1-13 against the SEC West since 2010. They beat Auburn last year to end that streak, and now they're going to beat a West team again. Vols limit Mississippi State to 267 total yards, sacking quarterbacks 6 times, and Kylan Hill had 13 yards rushing. And Jarrett Garantano gets to celebrate with his teammates.
How about that storyline? You open the game, Brian Maurer, the true freshman, he's the answer. He played okay, had a couple of red zone, end zone turnovers. That's what kept the game close.
First guy on the field to pat him on the belly was Brian Maurer. Alyssa Langs with the winning coach, Jeremy Pruitt.
Coach, what did you think about the way your defense played today to get this win?
Played hard. We got some turnovers. Unfortunately, we lost a couple of players in this game. But the guys that we put in, they were resilient. They found a way. And our offense done a nice job there. Got the ball with 8 minutes to go. Put a great drive together and scored there at the end.
Is there an update on Brian Maurer?
You know, he's got to go through the protocol for concussion. So.
What did you think about the way Garantano was able to come in and finish it?
Well, he managed the offense. We ran the ball some there and made a good play there on the RPO, and Tyler Bird made a great run.
Thank you, Coach.
20-10, Jeremy Pruitt's team with its second win. Jarrett Garantano, all smiles after being through so much in the last few weeks. Mississippi State falls to 3-3 on the season. Be back with more from Knoxville, but first, let's go to our SEC Network studios. Peter Burns, Chris Doring, and Gene Chisholm.